students, hope you all are fine. This teaching video is for class 6 subject social studies and our topic is globe, latitudes and longitudes. Let's get started. Here we shall learn about globe and latitudes. In the previous chapter, you have read that our planet Earth is not a sphere. It is slightly flattened at the North Pole and South Pole and bulge in the middle. Right? Can you imagine how our Earth looks? You may look at a globe carefully to get an idea. Globe is a true model of the Earth. True model means I am saying is a miniature form of the Earth. Let's talk about the globe in detail. As I told you that you have learned that the Earth is spherical in shape. It is slightly flattened at both the poles and bulge at the equator. This bulge is due to the centrifugal force. Now, what is centrifugal force? It is an effect in which an object that is moving around a central point appears to be moved away from the center by some force, and that one is caused by the rotation of the Earth. If you have any sphere, any ball, whatever you have, if you move it very fast, okay, so you can see from the central part is appear to be moved away from the center, and for this way, and when we are seeing the shape, that time we can see that these two areas will be flattened, and the middle portion you can see a little bit of bulge, and that is happened to the Earth by the rotation of the Earth. Okay, and this type of shape is referred to as geoid, and that meaning is Earth-like shape. Okay, now globes may be varying size and type. It can be big one which cannot be carried easily, small pocket globes, and the globe-like balloons which can be inflated and are handy and carried very easily. The globe is not fixed. It can be rotated the same way as a top spin or a potter's wheel is rotated. On a globe, we can see countries, we can see the continents and oceans, and they are shown in their correct sites. So we are seeing all the parts of the continents and countries. They all are in the shapes are and the locations are accurate in the globe. Okay. But it is difficult to describe the location on a point on a sphere like the Earth. Now the question arising as to how to locate a place on it. We need certain points of references and the lines to find out the location of places. Now you will notice that a needle is fixed. You can see the orange color of line. So the needle is fixed through the globe in a tilted manner, which is called its axis. The 2 points of the globe through which the needle passes are 2 poles. You can see that is a North Pole and the South Pole. The northern end of the axis is known as North Pole and its south end is known as the South Pole. Places on the Earth are located by means of 2 sets of lines. So we can see 2 sets of lines drawn on a globe or a map, and they are known as latitudes and longitudes. You can see this type of lines which are going to east and western side, that is known as the latitudes, and which lines are coming from north to south, these lines are known as longitudes. So we are saying that if you want to locate any place on the Earth, so we have 2 sets of lines and that are drawn on a globe. But you have to understand that these are imaginary lines that is drawn by the geographers, which do not actually exist on the surface of the Earth. That we are imagining it, right? The globe can be moved around this needle from west to east. Just our Earth moves. But remember, this is a major difference. As I told you, the real Earth has no such type of needle. It moves around its axis, which is an imaginary line. Now today we'll discuss only about latitudes, and the next class we'll read about the longitudes. So more about the latitudes. If we imagine a circle around the middle portion of the Earth, suppose it's a circle from the front to the back side, uh, exactly halfway between the two poles and will arrive at the center. So this is the middle part of the earth. From the north pole to south pole is the middle part, and this line is known as equator. So what is the equator? So you can see a circle around the middle of the earth from west to east, exactly halfway between the poles, that means the two poles, will be arrive at the equator. So equator is known as a great circle because it's a complete circle. From the front to the back side is a complete circle. So it's known as a great circle and divides the earth into two equal halves. So if you imagine it's like a watermelon, if you cut from here, so you have two halves, right? So northern half, this half, the earth is known as northern hemisphere, and the southern half is known as southern hemisphere. They are both equal halves. Therefore, the equator is an imaginary circular line. Is a very important reference point to locate places on the earth. Now let's talk about what is a latitude. So you can say a latitude is an angular distance of a place north of or south of the equator as measured from the center of the earth. This is the center of the earth, right? And you can see this is the equatorial plane. This is a plane. If you cut the earth from the middle, so you will having the equatorial plane, and this is the center of the earth. So from here you can see the angle, and the angle is 42 degree. So that means this line is known as 42 degree of latitude. So what is a latitude? Again I am saying the latitude is the angular distance of a place. So the angular distance of a place north or south of the equator. So you can see the northern side, right? And this is measured from the center of the earth. The angle is arising from the center of the earth. Now let's talk about the parallels of latitudes and north pole and south pole. Okay, so all latitudes are drawn parallel to the equator. You can see this line is equator and all the lines are parallel to the equator, right? And they are run from west to east. These lines are parallel to the equator, that's why they are called as parallels of latitudes. So all the lines here you can see in northern hemisphere, also in southern hemisphere, they all are known as the parallels of latitudes. Latitudes are measured in degrees. You can see all the degrees are mentioned here. 0 degree, 15 degree, 30 degree, this way. So they are represents in degrees. The equator represents the 0 degree. Look, the value of equator is 0 degree. Right, 90 degrees north latitude marks the north pole and 90 degrees south latitude mark the south pole. And here you can see also many latitudes. That is all the parallels of north equator is called north latitude. So this all are north latitudes. Similarly, all the parallels of south of equator are known as south latitudes, and they are marked as N and S in capital letter. The N means north latitude and S means south latitude. The value of each latitude therefore followed by either the word north or south, as I told you, or in capital letter N or S. We see that we move away from the equator, the size of parallels of latitude decreases, right? So we are ending here. So now tell me, what we have learned today? So we have learned that about the globe, right, and how many types of globes are there, and then we discussed about the axis of the earth, north pole and south pole. After that we talked about the latitudes and what is the latitude and how the lines are drawn on the earth, and as I told you, they all are imaginary line. Now I am assigning you some homework that you have learned today. So the questions are question number 1 to question number 8. Okay, so I am giving you this one. So we end our class here. If you have any doubt, we will definitely discuss on that questions and we will learn more in our next class. Hope so we are ending our class here. Read properly, do your homework. Thank you, class.